This video was brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, website, or online store, make it with Squarespace. No matter how many times you have been to New York, the city can always overwhelm you with the crazy amount of things to experience. Unfortunately, lots of people spend their time and their money on the wrong things. Without any ado, this is my comprehensive expert list of things not to do, of what not to do, so you can make the most of your time in New York City. Now, one thing that I want to be clear about. This video is not intended to be a negative review of New York. I love this city, and I want to share with you some of the things to avoid so that you can fully spend your time experiencing the best that NYC has to offer. Every New Yorker can agree, when you actually live in New York City, you avoid Times Square at all costs. I mean, you only really go there if you work there or you have a meeting there. It's not a casual place to hang out. While I do believe that everyone should experience Times Square at least once in their life, it's not the kind of place to make a day out of. The sheer amount of people in one tiny space, the food is overpriced, and you're surrounded by Disney characters trying to make a buck off you. There's nothing wrong with it. If you do get a photo with someone hustling on the streets, remember, like your mom taught you, always be respectful and leave a tip. Go for 10 minutes, take your selfie, gawk at the bright lights, and get the hell out of there. All you need is 10 minutes, and that is your Times Square fix for life. You don't need to come here and spend a day in Times Square. I mean, poor Mike Sheffer's been here for what, an hour, and he's going crazy.
Get me out of here.
As an alternative to Times Square, check out Bryant Park. It's only a few blocks away from Times Square, right next to the public library. You'll still get your fix of that midtown hustle feel without all the crazies. Picture this. You've been walking around the city all day, and you are so far past the point of hungry, so you walk into that first chain restaurant that you see. Do not do this. The golden rule is if you can eat there at home, you should avoid eating there in the city. You didn't book that trip to New York City to come and eat at your favorite fast food restaurant. Rather, make your way downtown, away from all the chaos, and find something local. In New York, you could eat in a different restaurant every single day, and it would still take you 65 years to eat in all of New York City's 24,000 restaurants. Avoid the franchise restaurants, don't be distracted by the bright lights, get out of Times Square, and go find something that New York City is known for: great restaurants. The sidewalk in New York is like an actual highway, and there's a certain set of rules for walking on the sidewalk here. First, you should never stop abruptly in the middle of the sidewalk. If you do, people will bump into you. Do not stop walking to check your phone, maps, or gawk at the tall buildings on the middle of the sidewalk. Also, avoid walking in the bike lane and avoid jaywalking. Rather, if you have to check your phone, simply stop and walk off to the side, out of the way of all the foot traffic, and check your messages there. All over Midtown, you'll see signs for bus tours around the city. While the tours do take you through the majority of the city and offer some amazing beauty points, it's only for a passing moment in traffic, or not moving in traffic at all. There's crazy long lines in the summertime. In the winter, you'll have the bus to yourself for good reason. You're exposed to the elements, and it can be pretty miserable. Rather than taking a bus around the whole city, pick one neighborhood in specific, like the West Village, and spend the day exploring that one specific spot rather than spreading yourself too thin over the city. Design your own tour that is much more immersive in the city rather than just pure sightseeing. Avoid renting a car. Sounds like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised. Most New Yorkers don't even have a driver's license because a car can be the least effective way to get around the city. Commercial vehicles only. That's Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Today's Saturday.
So today we're good, especially if you're here on a whim. You can't kind of just go to a place and say, hey, I'm gonna park here, because chances are you will get a ticket or you will get towed. Some people will pay $500, $700, $1,000 or more per month just to park their car in the city. Taxis can be good, but they can be expensive. Only rent or bring a car if you have to. Rather, I recommend to take the subway. It's cheap and it's easy to navigate once you get the hang of it. Once you are on the subway, do not abuse riding it. There's a set of unspoken and also very public rules for riding the subway. Number 1, do not hop the turnstile. Pay for the subway ticket, it's good for the city. Let people off the subway before you get on. Don't spread your legs out and put your bag on the seat next to you. Don't lay down flat while riding the subway. And don't lean on the poles. More or less, just be very conscious of your space and the space of others. If you never leave Manhattan, can you really say you've been to New York? Make sure to check out the other 5 boroughs. Each has their own unique neighborhoods, landmarks, and culture. It is just about 5:30 in the morning. One of my favorite things to do in the city, you wake up at sunrise, especially this time of year in the summer, there's not many people at all on the bridge. You have a beautiful sunrise over there into the east. You have Manhattan over this way, Brooklyn Bridge, Lower Manhattan, joined by some good friends today, Brett and Chris.
What's up, vlog?
Sit on a bench, really just taking the views of the city, and then go spend a whole day exploring Brooklyn. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and also comment down below your top things to avoid in the city if you're from the city or you've been here before. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Squarespace is the best place to build a website, and they have award-winning 24/7 customer support. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform, meaning there's nothing to patch, nothing to upgrade ever. It's simple to set up or transfer your domain with Squarespace. Head on over to squarespace.com for a free trial. When you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Eric to save 10% off your first purchase.